Okay, it's live on Facebook, and we're going to. Now I'm going to put it on my page. I'm going to send it to you, and all you got to do is share it on your page.
Okay.
All right, give me a minute. I'm just sharing it with a couple of people.
Okay.
All right, good people, we're getting ready to go. One for the Father.
All right.
Son.
All right.
And the Holy Ghost.
All right.
All righty. Hello, good people, and welcome once again to WPVN. What's the PVN for? Prophetic Voices Network. I am your boy, Pastor Dru Kelly, right here in Jacksonville, Florida. As they say down here in Jacksonville, Duval County. Hey, listen, I have had great guests all week long, and tonight is no exception. We actually canceled out on each other, once, and so we had to redo it. I had to cancel the first time. She had to cancel the second time, and here we are. So, man, listen, timing is everything, and God timing is absolutely, positively what's up. In the Bible, it's called a kairos. Say kairos with me, somebody. Kairos is an appointed time. It's an appointed time at an appointed place for a reason and a season for God. And I believe that this is a kairos moment on tonight with my very special guest. She is author, writer, entrepreneur, mommy, counselor, and so much more. She is Nakiska J. Hey, Nakiska.
Hello. How are you?
I am good, girl. It is so good to have you here. So very good. We talked the one time, and I told you when I hung up the phone, I was like, man, wow, this girl has had a life, man. You have had a life, man. Let's start with Nakiska. Where'd that come from? Where'd that name come from?
That is actually my middle name.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, now that is different. I don't think I've ever met another Nakiska.
Wow. Yeah. I've I decided to use it versus my first name because it was shorter and
Your
it was
first name
different.
is, you got a long first name?
It's longer than Nakiska, yeah.
Let me guess. Okay, I'm gonna take a wild guess. Um, Emma Lou.
Ooh, my mama didn't do me that bad.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, but thanks once again for joining me. We always start out with a starter question to kind of break the ice and to get the audience involved on
Okay.
with us along the way. And those of you that are out there watching the starter question tonight, like every night, no matter where we are in the show, you can always put your answer up to your starter question. You may not have it while we're in that segment, but along the way, you might think of something and you want to put it in there. And so we'll go back throughout the show and we'll read your starter questions when we get the chance to, and especially at the end of the show, if we don't get to it, we'll go back and read those answers to the starter question. And tonight's starter question is, should you be in communications with the ex when you have moved on to the next? Should you be in communication with the ex when you have moved on with the next? Now, I get this a lot. I counsel a lot, and I get this question, or it's not so much the question as the situation where one of the parties are not very comfortable with, the newfound love still being in touch. Nakiska, what's your thought on the ex calling and texting and that communication still going on when y'all have met and it looks like this thing is for real?
I actually had that issue in my last relationship.
Are you serious?
I did. The ex wanted to, and like I said, they share kids, so I understand you have to communicate for kids, but it was a little extra. So we had a conversation about it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did it? What bothered you about it?
Well, the fact that we had a long history behind the whole dynamic of me, her, and him.
So she's no stranger to you.
No.
Oh my.
No. Yeah.
Oh my.
So it was kind of like it was extra because it was me. So it was kind of like we had to have that conversation. Like, all right, let's put some boundaries in here.
Wow. And he was okay with. So talk to Pastor Dru. So it was. Did you not want them to communicate beyond the children at all, or was she doing too much that made you feel that way? What led you to say we need to have a conversation about this?
Well, for me personally, I feel like you should respect the person's relationship. And if you have kids and y'all aren't together, then your communication with that person should only be about your kids. There should not be any, in my opinion, there should not be any extra conversation. But it was a lot of extra going on. And he was him being him was just going along with it, thinking they were being friendly, but me being a female, knowing women, was like, no, she trying to be funny. So yeah.
Don't let this same thing fool you. I do lay hands,
Like I tell people, I said, Jesus is the only one that give a certain type of grace. I'm still here. I'm still human. Mine run out a little differently. But yeah.
Man, bless you. So where did you actually grow up?
I'm sorry.
Where'd you grow up? What city?
So I was born in Columbia.
In Columbia, South Carolina? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I lived there for 6 short months. I took a job. I lived St. Andrews out by the mall up north. And
okay.
I was jogging, and every day I was out there jogging. People were passing me, calling me the N-word. I was like, I am not staying in
Wow.
South Carolina. I got to go.
Oh,
Yeah, that was that was probably
wow.
the worst thing, but it was God's way. You know, certain things happen for God to show you where you're supposed to
Right.
belong. So I didn't blame it on
Yes.
Columbia. I looked at it
Okay.
as God used what was under the surface of Columbia for me to make my next move. I met
Okay.
females there, and I was told, "Oh, you're very nice looking to be dark skinned." It was like, I gotta go. I gotta go.
Oh,
They're great.
wow.
these, Negro, these
Wow.
these Negroes are grading on the curve. I gotta go. So black,
Wow.
look,
That's
yeah, it was
that's an
very
interesting
different,
experience.
very,
Wow.
very, and I've lived in a lot of cities, but that was one of them.
Wow.
So growing up, Nakiska, early years, what was that like?
Growing up early years. Um, so
What
I'm
was the
I'm the
house
only
like?
girl.
Let me start here. Go back to you as far back as you can remember. What was the house like? Who was in the house?
Um, Initially it started out my parents, they were married, and then my parents separated, so it ended up being
And
me, my
how old were
mom.
you when they separated?
4.
You were
4.
4 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
All
3 or
right.
4.
Yeah. Did your dad continue to be in the picture after the divorce? Was he still in the picture?
Off and on.
Oh, okay. All right. Then you get
Yeah.
to you have siblings. Tell us about the siblings.
So I have 2 brothers. I'm the middle child, so I have an older and a younger brother.
Oh, okay. All right. The girl in the middle. Wow. That must have been
The
rough.
girl in the middle. Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't recognized as one of the girls. I was one of the little brother, the middle brother to them.
I'm sure it helped later in life. Run
Yeah,
into situations.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
So tell us, who was the funniest out of the three of you? Who was the funniest in the house?
Who was the funniest? Hmm, that's a good question because we all had our own comedic ways. Hmm, I don't know. It was probably like a tie because we all kept each other laughing. So
That's good.
I
And are
can't
you
say who was the funniest.
really? And does anybody else in the family sing, or are you the only singer?
So my family had like my mom's siblings and stuff. They had like a group way back in the days where they had like a singing group.
Sorry, don't know. They want to watch you online and call you. Never
Oh.
understood it, but go ahead.
But yeah, so I come from a background, my family, my grandfather pretty much put his kids together and formed a group, and so they sung
Oh,
and did
okay.
stuff back in the days.
Oh, wow, nice, nice.
Hmm.
Did you
Yeah.
partake in any musical departments in school? Any
So I
extracurricular in
stayed in
music?
chorus. I stayed in chorus
Really?
throughout from elementary all the way through the end of high school.
Wow. And of course, you sang in church. What was the first song you led in church?
Oh gosh, the first song it was actually I'll say not a duet. It was a trio with me and my brothers, and it was a I can't remember quite the song directly, but I know it was a BB and CC song that we sung together.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Any
Yeah.
talent shows or any shows around town you did?
Um, I did do some talent shows a few times. As far as once I got older, shows that I've done, I did a show in Vegas. I did kind of did some touring with oh gosh, I can't think of the group right now. It just slipped my mind. Praise Factor. I kind of did some touring with them and stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh, okay. We're gonna come back to that. But the I want you to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And I want you to go back to the first time you sang and you knew this is what I want to do forever.
The first time I sang and I knew I wanted to do it forever was I was singing on the praise team in church, and I had got super nervous. Like, I could barely get through the song. My voice was super, super shaky. And at that moment, I was like, I'm about to beat this today. Like, this is not going to keep happening to me. and I sung through it, and the impact that it had from that moment, I was like, okay, this is where I need to stay. And it's like, even when I stop singing, it's like, I just don't feel right. Like, I feel like I'm missing something out of my life when I'm not singing.
So you've been singing your whole life. What's the longest period you went where you put music down? You didn't write, you didn't
About
sing,
6
you
years.
didn't do anything. 6 years? Are you serious?
For about 6 years.
Wow.
Yep.
Tell us what was going on that made you say, eh?
It was just one of them things where it was like, once I began to draw closer to God and really figure out what my calling was and everything, it was one of those things where it was like, you can't run from this. And it was like, literally, God was like, this is what I called you to do. And it was like, okay. I guess I gotta keep doing it. But it's like, everywhere I go, every church I would go to, they would always be like, come be our worship leader. And I'm like, that ain't what I'm here for. I just want to get to work. But it was like, every single church I had visited, it was like, oh yeah, if you join, we want you to sing. And I'm like, okay.
Got to get back to it. Now, you wrote 2 books, and both are very personal. And I know it's your story, but they're really how to press in spite of, and enjoy both. Tell us, give us a synopsis on both books.
So the first book is Church from the Eyes of a Saint, and basically that book just highlights journal portions of my life, spiritual encounters and things like that. And basically from it is just encouraging you to find your identity in Christ for yourself, to make your relationship personal with him, and basically persevering through that.
Have you always liked writing?
No. No. I love reading, but not writing.
Oh, okay. No. But not writing.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get to journaling to do the book? How did you get to that point, that not wanting to be a writer, but finding yourself journaling these things that are happening in your life? How did you find, how did you make it there?
So it was a thing where I started dreaming and interpreting dreams, and God was speaking speaking prophetically through the dreams and different encounters I was having. And it was just like I was led in my spirit to just write it down. So I just started writing.
Wow. And then the second book?
And the second book is Beautiful Innocence Stolen, Healing from Sexual Abuse. And basically that one is encouraging basically reader that has been molested at any given point in their life to basically seek out inner healing.
Um, and how are you today?
Okay. Actually,
Okay.
definitely I've come a long way.
Yeah. I was going to say, walk us through the process where this happened to you. You had to deal with it. You had to face it. And now you're here where you can breathe and you can move on with life. Take us on that journey and tell us, if you want to, what happened and the road you traveled to get to this place called here, or this place called now.
Basically, well, when I realized I wasn't really healed from my sexual molestation encounter was at the age of 30. And I was
Wow.
in I was sitting in actually I was sitting in a sexual abuse training class, and we were watching a video, and the stuff that they were saying, it kind of resonated with me, and I just bust out in tears in the middle of the class, and I was like, what just happened? And
How
I
did
kind
you
of
end
was
up?
like,
How did you end up in that class?
so I was working for Safe Homes, which was a domestic violence agency in Augusta, Georgia. And I was
Okay.
taking the training because we would get a lot of some of our clients that would come into our shelter actually dealt with sexual abuse, or their kids dealt with sexual abuse. So we wanted to help them provide as much wraparound services to them as possible. So that's how I ended up in that training.
Okay. Wow. And in the
Mm-hmm.
training, they start speaking to your past.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, that which you had buried deep. Um, did
Yeah.
you just not? How old were you when it started?
So I was molested. It was like around
Oh,
when I was 3 or 4, and it went on for like 2 years. Yeah.
oh, wow. Wow. So you could
Yeah.
remember back then? Wow.
Yeah. Sadly, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And this was, I take it, family member, close to the family.
Yeah. Close family member. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So you're 30. So you 34. So this is 26 years
No, I'm
that
actually
you've held this
38.
in.
So yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So you hold this in for all those years. Did you ever tell anyone?
Yeah. So I did. Like I started talking about it. The first time I talked about it was when I was 13.
Okay.
And I shared it with
And who'd you
someone. And that
tell?
was like the first time. So it was like a I call her my sister, but it was like one of my cousins that I was close in age with, and I just shared it with her. Mm-hmm. That was the first time I
Wow.
talked about it.
Wow. Did it make you feel better to finally tell somebody?
It did, but it still didn't. Like at that time, I didn't process it all the way because I never allowed myself to go through like the memories of it. It was just like
Mhm.
it happened. So I would say I started telling people like it happened to me, type thing. But it wasn't until I actually um in my last when I really actually started my full healing process, because I kind of like started, then I stopped because it was like I didn't want to deal
Mhm.
with the memories. I didn't want to go through all of that because it
Right.
was a painful experience to have
Right.
to go through. So
Right.
I ended up waiting like 6 years later from there to actually really fully deal with it, and that's when everything just started. Kind of like I had to see the person for what they were, see the situation for what it was, and really just find my healing from it. Cause like it was to a point to where like even certain songs were memories to me
Wow.
that I couldn't listen to them because it was reminding me of that situation. But now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, I can hear the song and not think and not link that song to that situation. So, yeah.
Right. Right. So you wrote the book, so quite naturally, family members and that know about it. Do they know who this is? Did you ever share who this family member was with everybody?
Not in the book, but my family knows who the person is. Yeah,
Wow. And what were
yeah.
their reactions when? What was the family reaction when you told them?
So it was actually a situation where how my mom first found out about it was one of my aunts told my mom about it because we were living with my grandparents at the time. So
Okay.
it was one of those things where one of my aunts told my mom, but it was like everybody that lived in the house kind of like knew something was going on, but it was one of those things where nobody talked about it.
Right. Well, that's from that generation, to everybody
Right.
just their way of dealing with stuff was not to deal with it. Just pretend that it didn't happen.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Did you
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
did did you ever face your molester slash abuser?
So how I handled the situation with I never discussed the situation with him, but I've been we've had family functions and things like that. I've been able to talk to him. I've prayed with them before, things like that. But it
Oh,
was one of those things where I kind of was I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't know how they were going to respond to it. And I didn't want it to trigger me in the wrong way when I was already on a healing journey. So I kind of like
mhm.
just left it as is. Yeah.
Wow. So when you take us to the moment that you decided to let him know you remember what happened, how did you convey to him, I remember what happened?
So we've never had that conversation.
Wow.
Never
Wow.
had that conversation. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm sure he probably knows about the book, so
Yeah, everybody knows about the book. But it's one of those things still where it's like everybody knows, but it's like, well, they kind of just move on like it never happened.
Yeah, yeah. That's common in the African American family. Uh, we
Sadly.
just,
Sad.
yeah, we kind of move on. So, if you had advice for a young girl that this is happening to right now as we speak, what advice would you give her?
I would definitely say it's not your fault, so don't beat yourself up about it. Do tell somebody, a safe person, whether it's a pastor, counselor, let somebody know what's going on with the situation so that you can get the help that you definitely need, the counseling that you're going to need to get through it.
Well, it's been said that people who write and sing from pain are great singers, and their music is deeper and it's more connecting when you can feel what it is that they've been through. How much of your life experiences are a part of you being able to express yourself through your music?
So the last album that I did, the EP I did, which was the Revealing, that actually was
Mhm.
a spiritual process I was going through. It pretty much highlights the spiritual journey I was on with God revealing his plan, where I'm supposed to go, what I'm supposed to do, who I am, shedding some of the old me, getting to who God want me to be. So that one was um that pretty much was one of those personal type writings where I was like, literally, I'm writing in the process of coming through the situation. So that album pretty much highlight the songs from that album pretty much highlight that process.
Wow, let's talk a little bit about the pandemic. Tell us the life of Nakiska when you first heard about this virus and people dying. What were your thoughts when you first heard that?
When I first heard about the virus,
Mm-hmm.
thought it was crazy. I thought it was some conspiracy stuff. I like, because we were getting. I would tell people like, we was getting warnings before now about stuff getting crazy and stocking up on stuff, but we just didn't know what it was. So when we actually figured out what it was like, dang, this is crazy. I wasn't on board with the mask thing and all that stuff until I actually caught COVID, and I was like, okay. Let me start
Oh
feeling
wow!
myself a little better. But yeah,
So you was one of them color. You were one of them color people. It had to hit you first before you
I
realized
really
this
was.
thing is real. Did you get really sick?
Um, well, it was a blessing that I didn't because I was already on antibiotics when I had caught
Oh,
it.
okay.
So yeah, but it was a long 12 days, and I really had the most part about it was like the energy draining part. So I pretty much was taking
Uh-huh.
like some natural stuff to keep my energy up. Did a lot of B12 daily and stuff like that just to keep my energy high. But it was just it was a mental process more so than anything. So it's kind of like God kept telling me like just thank me through it, every day because it was like okay, just literally your symptoms. My symptoms were like every 2 days I had a new symptom. I'm like what? Okay, what's next? But yeah, so
And you were quarantined. When we went through the quarantine thing where everything was shut down, what was the toughest part about the quarantine?
actually I appreciated the quarantine. The quarantine wasn't bad. It because I was one of the people where I didn't want to go nowhere anyways because it was just so crazy in the world. It was like my house became like my little. I had the little. If I wanted to watch a movie, either I would set up my little theater system out back in the backyard, or we had like a drive-in theater. We go to a drive-in theater or something like that. So it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me one bit.
Yeah, I thought people were like insane. I'm like, this is a time for you to get peace. Man, I guess because I
Mm-hmm.
work from home way before any of this, I've been working from home for years. And so this was the norm for
Okay.
me. Plus, I'm an introvert. So
Okay.
being alone is
Okay.
fine with me. So when people were like
Right.
calling me like they're actually going crazy, I'm like, are you serious?
Oh.
Man, you work all day, you're running, you got kids, you got to do this and that, and finally,
Yeah.
God is giving you some time to get some peace, and you complaining that you
Yes.
are not going to. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. But
No.
I was telling people down here in
Mm-mm.
Florida, we didn't really shut down in Florida. The governor here,
Okay.
things were still open. Things
Oh,
were still
okay.
open. But I did some
Okay.
traveling, and those cities were on lock. Man, I was getting
Wow.
airline tickets for $29 and $39
Oh,
during the
wow.
pandemic. Yeah, because no one was flying.
Wow.
And so sometimes I was
Okay.
on
Yeah.
planes with 10, 11 people, you know, on a
Oh,
plane. But yeah,
wow.
it was
Wow.
wonderful back during that
Yeah.
period. So let's go to music.
Yeah.
Loving music. 2016, you got back into music. 2017, the Revealing project came out.
Right.
What are we working on now?
So I'm actually in the process of working on a few singles. I'm getting things straightened out with those. I am actually looking into some looking at not producers, but looking into some record labels and kind of comparing which route I want to go with that to further my career with that. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Wow. Somebody want to book you, connect you, learn more about you. How do they get in touch with
So Instagram or Facebook is Nakiska J, as it's spelled on here, Nakiska and the letter J, or through email is Nakiska J Songs. So that's Nakiska J SONGS at gmail.com.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I can't wait for the next project. You had a couple of songs on Revealing. Oh man, that yes, yes, yes. For those of you who have not heard of the sister, I went to try to pull it and plug it here tonight. I was gonna surprise her and play it on tonight, but I got the surprise because sister stuff is embedded and you ain't finna steal her stuff. So so you're gonna have to go and buy wherever you buy your music, Sugar Baby, Spotify, wherever you buy your music, you can go and get a copy of Nakiska J revealing, right? Revealing.
The
Yeah, it's
Revealing.
awesome. It's awesome.
Yes.
You got to check her out. We're gonna bring her back because there's so much more that I want to tap into. I didn't really get into a whole lot on tonight, but I'm gonna bring her back so we can do a part 2 to this. Nakiska, thank you so much for being my very special guest here tonight at the Dru Kelly Show. And it wasn't too hard. I didn't pull you. There's a whole lot that I was gonna pull, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna be nice tonight. I ain't gonna pull it out. We're gonna say that we're gonna say that to the next time when you come back.
Okay.
We'll go through it.
Okay.
But thank you so much, really, for sharing. I know that it's not always easy to talk about those things that have caused us mental anguish and stress, drama, conflama, confusion, confliction. The things that we've been through. It's not always easy to talk about it, but I'm glad that you did share what you did share because there's so many people that are out there that are living in silence with things that have them bound, things that have them just, and people are like, oh, he's a little weird or she's a little weird, but they don't know the story behind why that person is, withdrawn or do the things that they do. And so thank you very much. And again, we're going to have you back here at the Dru Kelly Show in the very near future, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. There's folk that have been jumping on, and your boy Pastor Dru barely look at the screen. Praise and Rock, thank you for jumping on. My cousin Dale Kelly in Orlando, Florida. Thank you. Lynette Spicer from BBTV in Cleveland, Ohio. God bless you. Cousin Dwight Yancey, thank you very much. Tanisha Taylor, Kiwan Kayer, God bless you. LaShonda Ballard, Matson Knowles, Dupree Price, God bless you. Avery Edge, God bless you. Damian Harris, God bless you. Bryce B. Barrett, what's up, little bro? God bless you. My brother, the one and only Bishop Johnny L. Kelly out of Ormond Beach, Florida. That's on the perimeter of Daytona Beach, Florida. God bless you. Keith Benjamin, God bless you. Jason Codwell, God bless you. God bless you. My sister Ruth Ann Stewart, Cookie, God bless you. Thank you, Cookie. Thank you all. There's so many more. Glenn Baspid, I hope I said that right. Johnny Panda, God bless you. And so many more, but we're out of time. God bless you, and we'll see you here on Monday night. Monday night, my very special guest is Faith, I started to say Faith Evans. Faith Harrison and Chosen Vessels out of Cleveland, Ohio. Man, you talking about a bad sister on bass, sing, write, all of it. She's going to be my very special guest here on Monday night. And on Thursday night, it is producer, writer, singer, arranger, Devon Hines out of Atlanta, Georgia. All right. Until next time, I'm your boy, Pastor Dru. God bless you, and we love you. Oh, yeah. Our motto here at the Dru Kelly Show is real people with real problems, seeking real solutions, and that can only come from a real God. We'll see you next time. God bless.